Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Time Out for Black History. This is our thought for the day for May 10th, 2021. It falls right in line with what this series has been about and why I created this series, Time Out for Black History, and why it's so important that we continue to push this information out. So on Friday, Oklahoma Republican Governor Kevin Stitt signed into law HB 1775, and he joins 12 other states that are actively pushing to create this type of legislation. What it does is it bans the teaching of critical race theory in schools, which prevents the teaching of the academic theory that holds that racism is ingrained in the history of the United States and still impacts laws in place today. Now, he says, now more than ever, we need policies that bring us together, not rip us apart. I firmly believe that not 1 cent of taxpayer money should be used to define and divide young Oklahomans about their race or sex. So the law is being pushed as a unifier, as a law created to unify the people of Oklahoma. Now, it's important that we look and define what critical race theory is. Now, critical race theory, I'm going to use a definition by Kimberly Crenshaw, who was one of the founding critical race theorists. And also, she is a professor at UCLA and Columbia University. She states, critical race theory is a practice. It's an approach to grappling with a history of white supremacy that rejects the belief that what's in the past is in the past, and that the laws and systems that grow from the past are detached from it. So I always put in my classroom on the wall, it says, who we are is who we were. And that we are the product of all the previous generations that have created the current country that we now exist in. Now, Stitt, the governor, he's saying that, it's necessary to still continue teaching about these things. We need to encourage honest and tough conversations. He states that nothing in this bill prevents or discourages those conversations. We can and should teach this history without labeling a young child as an oppressor or requiring that he or she feel guilt or shame based on their race or sex. Now, I want you to really think about that. So he's saying we should have these conversations, but we should be sure that those people learning it don't feel any semblance of guilt or feel like an oppressor. Now, it's very difficult. I always say, I've been teaching Black history for 20 years. I've been having these tough conversations for 20 years. And I preface every conversation with, every year I start the class by saying, this is never about blame. It's about understanding the history. The natural reaction by many of you will be a sense of shame, a sense of, how could my country do that? But that's just the natural byproduct of the discussion. So when he says we should have the conversations, but not allow guilt or blame to come into it, basically what you're saying is, these are conversations that we're not going to be having, because that's part of this process of learning information, analyzing that information. So I want to be clear about the fact that these laws are built, they're created as a way to remove this type of education from the school systems. Now, this isn't K through 3rd grade. This isn't K through 6th grade. This is K through 12th grade that they're banning this type of discussion. So now if a kid feels as though he was targeted in class because of the color of his skin, he could bring a lawsuit to the school for making him feel uncomfortable. So you could pretty much consider these conversations as dead conversations now. So it's important today that we fight against this type of limiting of education. We're going back again to 1950, 1940, and a curriculum that was designed to teach only the good about America and not the truth about America. And so I call on everybody to continue their push for a real understanding of this history and to challenge these laws when they pop up in whatever particular state you're living in. Thank you again for listening to another episode of Time Out for Black History, and further research some of these laws so you can have a better understanding of what is happening in America and how this is so detrimental to our development and progress as a country. Thank you.